Aquí presentamos a Rey Barreto.
Que viva la música.
Acabando en el Quinto Mayo.
Come on, you can do better than that. That's right. You braved the heat to be here. Give it up for yourselves. You look so good. Good evening, everyone. It is so nice to have all of you here at the Greene space here at WNYC. My name is Janae Pierre. I host NYC Now. That's WNYC's local news podcast. And if you haven't heard about it, I'm going to take a moment to tell you. Basically, it's a show for everyday New Yorkers. We make sense of the city for the people who live here and for the people who want to stay here. I'll give you a couple examples. Last week, we talked about the vote to freeze the rent. How many of you have heard about that? How many rent-stabilized tenants do I have here today? I know you were happy to hear that news. I'm quite sure of it. We also talked about the new hip-hop school opening up in the Bronx this fall. Anybody heard about that? Pretty cool, pretty cool. If you haven't heard of the show, please do check it out. You won't be disappointed. You can go ahead and get your phones out. There's a QR code on the screens around the room. And subscribe now, listen later, check it out. Clap if you're gonna check it out. Had to plug my own show, come on. All right, I am also so glad to be here for this event today. You know, we have Futuro Media with us in this partnership, and when I think about it, and when I think about this event specifically, it all makes sense, you know? We're two independent, nonprofit newsrooms, and that's not easy to pull off in this day and age, so give it up for that. Yes, yes. Their latest podcast series, Our Thing, which you're going to hear all about, is about the birth of salsa here in Nueva York. If you haven't heard the series in its entirety yet, get ready for a treat. It's a really, really good series. I love this podcast so much, but what I love about it, it's how sound rich it is. I don't know if it's because I work in audio or whatever, but it really has me hooked. So please do check it out. I was brought back to the 70s really quickly. Never been, but it was a really cool listen. Now, before we begin, I want to quickly remind you that our work here at WNYC is member supported. How many members do I have in the crowd? All right. Well. You're not in trouble or anything. Just wanted you to clap, you know. Our president and CEO is here. Anyway, I want to quickly remind you that you can donate and support this public media station. Another QR code for you. I don't see any phones, though. QR code to join as a member and to donate. It's right on the television screens for you. Shout out to everyone who is already a member. Thank you so much for your support. Yes. It's because of members like you that public radio exists here in New York City, so thank you so much. And if you haven't yet donated or joined the WNYC family, I invite you to be part of this growing family right now with that QR code that's right here on your screens. Of course, we welcome gifts of any size. No gift is too small, right, Christy? No gift is too big. No gift is too big, Jill. All right, clap for that. Clap for that. So yeah. Please check out that QR code on our screen. Okay, so I'm gonna be back out here with a very special musical guest in a bit, and I'm so excited to talk with her. But first, we have the pleasure of kicking off tonight's event with two, really extraordinary women, both sheroes in their industries. Maria Hinojosa is a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist, author, professor, and the founder of Futuro Media Group. She was the first Latina hired at NPR in 1985. Give it up for that. So cool. So cool. And she has since dedicated her career to pushing the boundaries of mainstream media and, you know, still creating that path for so many journalists of color, and that's definitely needed in this day and age. So please, you're gonna really, really enjoy this conversation. She will be on stage with Rosie Perez. Yes. An Oscar, Golden Globe, and Emmy-nominated actress and choreographer. She taught me some moves. I won't be showing y'all today. No QR code for that one. But Rosie Perez has been a cultural mainstay since her breakout performances in films, classic films like Do the Right Thing, you've heard of it. White Men Can't Jump, prove it. And Fearless. And she is also a proud Puerto Rican, born and raised right here in New York City. Give it up for Brooklyn. And while you're giving it up, give it up for Maria Hinojosa and Rosie Perez.
Okay, what's up, New York? We live in such a boring city. Nothing interesting ever happens, LOL. Oh my God. First thing we're gonna do, apart from saying, oh my God, Rosie, thank you for coming to Lower Manhattan.
Yeah.
You got
Especially with the toll.
especially with the toll. Because, you know, I have a hard time getting to Brooklyn because my passport hasn't been stamped. But the reason why we're all here is because of salsa music, and the celebration of the birth of salsa here in New York City, which would be our new podcast, our thing. So let's listen and watch the trailer. Here it goes.
This story starts in uptown New York City,
You heard it as you walk through El Barrio.
where these underdogs created a sound that changed music forever.
And we called it salsa.
And one label captured that sound like no other.
Fania Records.
Fania Records.
Fania Records, where the world's greatest Latin musicians came together and took over the world.
Fania is making money in every direction.
But success came with conflict.
And I said, holy, man, I ain't got the money to pay for the flat tire? Something is wrong.
I'm Rosie Perez, and this is Our Thing, the birth of salsa in Nueva York, an original podcast from Futuro Studios, premiering May 26th. Follow wherever you get your podcasts.
And thank you to our team at Futuro Studios, Jeannie Montalvo and Marlon Bishop, both of whom are here, who really played a key role in making this happen. You know, people think like, oh, you come up with an idea for a podcast and you make it the next year. No, this was years in the making. It's really a labor of love. But before we talk about salsa and the podcast, Rosie, I just need to get your take on this moment in New York City. Like, how are you feeling? What's up for you? Because, like, you know, you're friends with Spike Lee, and he's like driving around in the Pope in Brooklyn. You know, all he needs is his little Pope mobile to be doing that. It is a moment, and I'm gonna be, because I'm 100% honest all the time. I'm not a sports person. I know nothing about sports. I didn't even know that they were in the playoffs until a week and a half. I know.
For shame,
I know. Small Mexican girls can't jump. So dime, ¿cómo te sientes? What's going on for you as a lifelong New Yorker, Nuyorican moment?
It's amazing. And Valdez, hello on the Knicks. It's an amazing time right now. When they won Game 5, like most New Yorkers my age, I was in bed watching because it went late. And I was so excited, and you can hear the screams from the street, right? And I wanted to go outside, and I had my nightgown on, my granny nightgown, and I run to the window, and they're screaming. These neighbors are screaming up at my window, go woohoo, and I go woohoo, and my husband goes, get out of the window, you look like a crazy old lady, right? And the person downstairs, she goes, everyone's a crazy old lady tonight. and it was just so exciting. Brooklyn was electric, the city was electric, and it was very nice because the gentrification that's been going on in the city, specifically in Brooklyn and the outer boroughs, it was the first time that neighbors who would just pass me right by would go, yo, let's go Knicks. And I go, let's go Knicks. I know you. You ignore me all the time. I'm so happy. You're saying hello. I'll take it. So it was just great. The city really came together over this team. It was fantastic.
It's a beautiful thing. I, like Rosie, was also in bed, but I was asleep. And I think one of the best ways to be woken up is by the screams and cheers of your neighbors, because I'm in Harlem. And then I was like, oh my God, they won. Oh my God, I'm so happy. And then they took the speakers out and it was blasting music for the next. It was such a celebration. So Rosie, you've had an incredible career. Someone like me, been watching it from the very beginning. We're so proud of you and all of your successes and the fact that you are a brilliant actress, can I just say. So, gotta give our girl the flowers all the time. So when you get this call, and I don't know who made the call, but I do want to take a little bit of credit for saying it's got to be Rosie. I'm just saying. But you're so busy and you've got things happening, and you get this call like, do you want to be the host of a podcast about the birth of salsa? And you were like, yes or no, or ¿qué pasó? Like, what made you say, I'm going to jump in?
I said, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening, because it was a full circle moment for me. Because as a Nuyorican, it was difficult growing up, in the sense that when I would go back to Puerto Rico, they would call me white girl or American, and they would never let me have that moniker of Puerto Rican. And then, when I would come to the States, then I had to deal with the prejudice of them saying, you're a Puerto Rican. It was like, where do I fit? Where is my identity landing? And for me, when the Fania All-Stars came around, they produced a sound that was the sound of the city. That was the sound of the subway. That was the sound of the streets. That was the sound that I knew that was coming from my kitchen. That was the sound of rice and beans and my block and the fire hydrant going. And it was the first time in my culture, in my Puerto Rican culture, that I felt a part of the culture. I felt like they were speaking for me in their lyrics, and the fun, and then the corny love stories, and then the politics that were in their lyrics. And so when I went back to Puerto Rico one summer, and they came on the radio in Puerto Rico, I am singing the songs, and my Spanish was so bad that they couldn't believe that I was speaking Spanish so well. And it was my sister Carmen, who's here tonight.
Hey, Carmen. If you listen to the podcast, you know who Carmen is.
We fought like sisters fight and everything. I used to steal her boyfriends. It was terrible. But that
sounds like a podcast in and of itself.
But it was the first time I felt like we bonded, ¿verdad? Right? And because we're both singing the same songs.
Oh.
And she took pride in saying, yeah, we're from New York. And I never heard that in Puerto Rico. I never heard that in Puerto Rico. And so when I got this call, to be honest, I started to cry. And my manager was like, you don't want to do it? I go, no. He said, no. And he goes, why are you upset? And I said, because I cannot believe they picked me.
Oh.
And it was such an honor. So it was an emphatic yes.
I love that so much. I love that so much. Thank you. And the thing is that everything that Futuro Media produces, we produce, like that's part of our moniker, right? Is what we produce with heart. And I think that the thing that you feel with Rosie on this podcast is her full heart being present. And so you brought it, mamita. You really brought it. So to be clear, I did not grow up in New York. So I'm a Mexican kid who grew up on the south side of Chicago. And all right, okay, let's go Chicago, south side. Salsa was not part of my growing up. I would hear it here and there, but it was not my experience. And in Mexico, it was not salsa, era música tropical. Then I get to New York, basically 1979, 1980, which is when salsa was happening. And I got to experience, because I was working at WQXR, I got to experience all of the salseros coming to the station. So I met Ralph Mercado, I met Ray Barretto, I met Ruben Blades, I met Celia Cruz. And this is the truth. Puerto Rican women, very specifically, and salsa changed my life and helped to define who I am as a Latina in the world. So I do have to ask, though, do you have a favorite song? Like, do you have a go-to where you're just like, okay, I have to listen to esta canción? Or maybe your top two?
Plástico.
Oh,
Yes.
love that. I was going to say anything by Ruben Blades. Okay.
Yes, anything by Ruben Blades. And shout out to the departed Willie Colon. But that one I loved because growing up in abject poverty, being around so much of materialism and money is status and this and that song just pierced my soul, where they're talking about the plastic people and they're talking about how empty they are and the money they spend just to look a certain way. And when I was growing up, my sister could tell you, I really didn't care about clothes. I really didn't. Just as long as my hair looked good. That's all I cared. That's very Puerto Rican. How many Puerto Ricans understand me tonight? Yeah, you see. And we were poor, and I remember going to school with holes in my shoes and feeling that shame. But I didn't care at the same time. I had to go to school. I had a mission. I was going to be something. I was going to make something of myself. I was going to change my life. And these clothes didn't matter, and the money didn't matter, and this and that. And then that song came on. And as a young person, hearing someone so poetic, and the music was so beautiful. So that's why that's my favorite.
Oh, I love that so much. I want to make a promise to you all that one day in the future, Rosie and I will dance Plástico together.
Aww.
So we're going to make that. We're going to make that happen. So the thing about salsa, again, we're talking about like the golden era, like seeing the famous people performing at the salsa festivals at Madison Square Garden, hearing it on the radio. Pero también fue muy difícil, right? Because it was so powerful, because it was so big. That means that things that are difficult happen. And when the team set out to tell this story, that was part of what we had to deal with, right? Some of the more difficult things that came up with the birth of salsa. I mean, there was all kinds of business issues, obviously, but also there was the question of addiction, AIDS, marginalized Puerto Ricans in New York City, and the poverty. So what was your reaction to that, Rosie, knowing that hasta cierto punto some of the trapos, íbamos a tener que sacar algunos trapos al aire, we were going to have to share a little bit of the dirty laundry. How did that sit with you?
It sat very well in the sense that unless you, in any type of storytelling, you have to tell the good, bad, and ugly, or else you're not doing a story, it's true service. You're doing a disservice to the storytelling. And so I thought that was very brave, and I was really impressed with your production company because of that, and with Jeannie as well. So yeah, it's really good. But it was hard. It was hard to read. It was hard to say, because what I thought of Fania, it was all the glitz and glamour and the music. And then when I heard about other issues, like you said, about business issues, misogyny as well, and all the
racism.
And the racism, I was like, oh, wow, okay. But at the end of it, I just felt like, okay, so they're human beings, things happen, and through all of that mess that happened, the music was so powerful. That's what prevailed. That's what pushed through, and that's what we still remember. But I still think that had to be told as well.
I love the fact that you spoke about how salsa really helped you with your Nuyorican identity. There may be some people in the audience who were a little bit confused by that. They're just like, wait, you're Nuyorican. If you go to Puerto Rico, you're called a white girl? How is that possible? And when you come back, of course, the racism. Can you talk a little bit about how that reality, which, by the way, happens if you're Mexican and you're growing up here, you go back to Mexico and they call you pocha.
Oh.
Do you know that word?
No.
Oh my God, I love this. Pocha is basically somebody who is from the United States, Latino, Mexican, and can't speak Spanish very well. So they tease us by calling us pochas or pochos. Talk a little bit about how salsa helped you understand this connection between the island and New York City, and how you think this podcast can actually help kind of build on this relationship between Puerto Rico and New York.
Well, first of all, being a Nuyorican, which just basically means a Puerto Rican who was born in New York and raised in New York, majority of us are in the closet about it, and I came out a long time ago because I just got, sick and tired of it. Our Spanish isn't great because it was a misguided attempt of assimilation of our parents. They were treated so poorly, the racism was so palpable that, they didn't want us to struggle. So it was like English, English, English. And then you would go to the island and the kids would make fun of you because you couldn't speak Spanish well. And what I did as a kid, when the Fania records would come out, I would have an English and Spanish dictionary, and I would sit there and I would write out the words and look them up and translate and find out the meanings of the word.
I love this.
Yes, and I was a young girl, and it really helped me. It helped me a lot. And then and that's what I mean about it brought me closer to my sister, because she was the only person that I had confidence to say, what does this word mean? And she would tell me, in confidence as well. But yeah, the people on the island, they just didn't think you were Puerto Rican enough because you were born on the mainland here, and that you didn't have the Spanish, so therefore you weren't a real Puerto Rican. And that burned so much. And that's why, like, when you see an artist like Bad Bunny come to Bushwick, you're like, oh my gosh, and he's bringing back that old salsa as well. So, so that's why when Fania All-Stars came around, I felt a part of it. I felt like it was mine. It was something that I could bring back to the island and say, hey, look at this. And then all of a sudden I became cool. I became like really cool. And it was pretty amazing. And like half of the people from New York that went down to the island used to lie their asses off. They would say, oh, I was at Yankee Stadium at the concert. No, you weren't. Or I was at the Cheetah Club. No, you weren't. Stop lying. But that's how proud we were. And then, people would lie and say, oh, I met Willie Colon on the subway. I said, no, you didn't. You didn't. But, a lot of times I remember allowing some of the lies just because I saw people just feel proud, And, I remember this one kid on my block, I won't say his name because we're still friends and he'll get so angry at me. But he used to lie so much about knowing Hector Lavoe and everything.
It was so specific.
And he would be on the stoop telling all these stories and he was like, right, Rose? I'm like, yeah. So it was like that. That's the feeling. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yes, absolutely you did. So the other thing that was happening in New York in the 1980s around salsa was that it was deeply political. And so we're not surprised that Rosie's favorite song is going to be from Ruben Blades off the album Siembra, La Canción Plástico. Salsa was very much related to the political activism of the time. And frankly, because of Puerto Ricans in New York and Nuyorican, the street activism, quick story, I'm sure you know this, the only activists to take over the crown of the Statue of Liberty and hang a flag, the Puerto Rican flag in the year 1977 were Puerto Rican activists.
That's right.
For La Independencia, the independence of Puerto Rico. Ever since then, the crown has been shut off to anyone. So they made their mark. The point is that salsa was protest music. It was absolutely protest music. It was played loudly on the street, and often it was a community experience, right? People would just suddenly take out the clave and they'd be playing. But in specifics, what was it like for you to talk about this in the podcast and talk about the Young Lords and their relationship with salsa and the politics of salsa?
There were two things that really gave birth to me becoming an activist. One was Muhammad Ali, the way he stood up. You can agree with him or not, but he did stand up. And he stood up for something and he paid the price for it. And he didn't back down. And for me as a little girl, that was very impactful because I love boxing. And the other thing was the Young Lords, when they hijacked an X-ray truck so that the people who were ignored and marginalized and weren't getting health care in the barrio, they provided health care in the barrio. They took over a hospital. The city ignored, I don't know, many people know this, they totally ignored Spanish Harlem in regards to picking up the trash, and it was just piling up. You thought COVID was bad. You have no idea what was going on. And these activists, and they were all college-educated kids, they took the trash and they put it in the middle of the street and they burned it. And it was pure anarchy. And at first when you're like, what are they doing? Oh my God, no, this is bad. The garbage got picked up. And it continued to get picked up. In regards to the hospital, things got improved. And, you know, you may agree or disagree with their methods, but what inspired me was their tenacity and their dedication and their follow-through. And what also with Fania songs, they would talk about criminals, and they wouldn't glamorize them. They would say, look how pathetic this is. What are we doing as a people? When they talked about rich people and the separation of wealth in the city, all of that just impacted me so deeply, you know. So it's and these were people who were fearless because there was a heavy prejudice about being Latino, specifically about being Puerto Rican.
Oh yeah.
Specifically about being Puerto Rican. And you think about the Puerto Rican Day Parade. These people started in a beauty salon. It is now the #1 largest national parade in the United States.
Love that. All right.
In the United States. And it all just came around kind of the same time, from the 50s all the way through the 80s. Puerto Ricans just refused to be denied. And the greatest thing that I learned from the podcast was, you know, Johnny Pacheco was Dominican. He invited everybody in. He even invited a Jewish guy. You know, he didn't care what you were, just as long as you were good and you had soul and you could play. And that is the Latino spirit. We don't care who you are. That's why we can go into any neighborhood and find our spot and nobody cares. Think about it. You have almost every neighborhood in New York City, you will find a Puerto Rican or Dominican, you know?
Or Mexican now.
Or Mexican now. You know what I'm saying? It's because we're just like, hey, how you doing? You know, we're the ones in the neighborhood saying, hi, how you doing? You know, this and that. And that affected me as well, you know? And it was a beautiful time. It was a very, very beautiful time.
So we're going to talk about boxing a little bit. And Rosie and I have never talked about this, so we're going to talk about boxing a little bit, because you know I'm a boxer. I don't know if you know that.
I didn't. I'm very excited right now. Oh my God, she's so cute.
We'll get to it in a moment. But I want to talk about the activism, because I want to try. So I'm older than you. I didn't want to have to reveal that, but so I was already like I was formed by Dolores Huerta, frankly, and the United Farm Workers, right? That was kind of the political nascent in Chicago. So I want you to try to talk about a little bit more, what's it like to be a young Latina in Brooklyn hearing salsa? And I know you've talked about it, but I just want to go a little bit deeper, and maybe you have this moment of like flipping through the radio station or taking the album out of the LP and putting it on, and how you made that connection to, I, little Rosie, understand that I can be an activist, that I can make a stand on political issues, on social justice. I am going to vote. I am going to see myself as an organizer, an activist. Kind of make that connection, because what we do know is that this very thing is also happening right now in New York City. So take us back.
Well, I was a ward of the state until my father and my aunt got me out. And, you know, I came out and just abject poverty, but I was happy. But still, I grew up surrounded by injustice. And there were people in my life that I saw who would fight, and they would get fired, or they would get pushed back, or this and that, and I would see that. The thing that I didn't see with the Fania All-Stars in their music was fear. I didn't see fear. I didn't hear fear. I heard well-composed, unapologetic, this is how it is, and something needs to be done. And when they would get on stage, it was the same feeling. They were just so self-assured, and there was jubilation and fire and compassion all built in it at the same time. And then when they would step off the stage, they were still that person. And that's inspiring as a young person. It really is inspiring. And for me, it, you know, and they were friends with the young lords. Ray Barretto was that's what I learned in the podcast. I'm acting like I knew this. I didn't know it. I found out in the podcast. And when I'm reading it, I'm like, oh, snap, that he would show up for them, and they would show up for each other. And that, shout out to Jerry Masucci, who's one of the co-founders, he allowed them that. He gave them that artistic freedom to express themselves. But I think that it was their composed fearlessness that spoke to my heart and made my chest puff out. And when there is a scary moment in life, like we're experiencing now, to stand up is terrifying. And you gotta find a way, because if you don't, things won't change. That's what I got from Fania.
Dropping some knowledge.
And you gotta find your way. Not everybody has to be a loud, big mouth, not saying I am, but you know what I'm saying. Everyone could find their way, and they did. You know, everyone thinks that they have to be out marching in the streets. There's other ways that you could find. You're an activist, even through your journalism. I'm so impressed by you. You know? You consistently stay on course about talking about people who nobody wants to talk about. You talk about people that need help, that needs help, that nobody wants to help. And, you know, you found your way. You know what I mean? And I found my way. And, you know, and that's how they inspired me. And I also, as Jeannie is finding out, because of Fania, I also have a lot of fun doing it. You know, I do. I tell other young activists, it's like, yo, okay, yeah, we're having a serious moment, but right now, let's chill, relax. You know, you're gonna have a heart attack, you know, because we need to be clear-minded. You know what I mean? You have to be clear-minded in order to move forward, and I got that from them as well.
Also joy, right? I mean, so much happiness, as you said.
Yeah.
one, also brilliantly produced music. I mean, people think it's like easy to do salsa. Oh my God, it's so freaking complicated. And I'm going to tell you a story that some people may know or not. But I actually met my husband at a great salsa club that would happen on Monday nights. Anybody know what it is? The Village Gate. Thank you. Village Gate, OG. Every Monday night, it would be salsa meets jazz. So the night that I met my husband, Tito Puente was playing with Dizzy Gillespie. That's what we would see. I know, it's like incredible. Everyone. Also, I would stay up until 2 a.m. every Monday night. Can't do that anymore. The fact that salsa, that the Puerto Rican creation of salsa has had such an impact, let's just say in my life and in the lives of so many people. And then you think, Rosie, about what's happening with your compatriot, with Bad Bunny. I mean, this is pretty extraordinary. I'm just wondering, I know I'm taking you out of salsa, but I just want to get your sense of what it has meant for you to watch Bad Bunny become an international superstar who has changed music culture and culture around the world forever.
He reminds me of the spirit of Fania in the sense that he is unapologetic and he's having fun doing it. The Super Bowl was a political statement. And the fact that he named all the Latin countries, and you saw on TikTok and Instagram some Latin countries that nobody ever mentions ever, and then they're hearing them names and they're screaming and crying. Just that's what I mean. That's what it felt to me like as a little girl, that sense of inclusion. Like, I matter. I'm being recognized. That's political. Just that alone. And for him to go on a Grammy stage and make a political statement where all these so-called brave celebrities have just shut the up, right? Recently. And for him to just very simple in his way, you know? And you can agree or disagree with him, but you gotta respect him that he has that nerve to do it. You know, and people go, oh, well, of course he does because he makes a lot of money. No, he's been making a lot of money along the way, you know, but he's always been that same guy. You know, yes, he was younger and he probably was immature, but he's grown. But he's, you know, and for him to bring the Puerto Rican culture, you know, in boxing, you would see boxers coming to the ring, Puerto Rican boxers with the jibaro hat, the straw hat on, and you would just, yay, and you only thought that you would see that in those type of settings, on a you know, a broad cultural setting. But when he did it, my mind was blown.
Completely.
My mind was blown. My husband goes, are you crying? I went, yes, you know, it's just like, oh my gosh, you know, and it was, once again, my sister Carmen, who introduced me to Bad Bunny.
Thank you, Carmen. Okay, she happened to be recording that on the phone right in that moment, so. But bum.
Oh God, she's gonna put it on her TikTok.
Oh my God. The fights between sisters. So, Rosie, my story about boxing is that in 2015, several close people to me, including my dad, were dying, and Donald Trump was running for office. And one of the people at my gym said, you really should come and take our boxing class at 6:30 in the morning. I was like, crazy people do that. Yeah, so that became me. And I started punching a bag, and I still do it 3 to 4 times a week.
Feels good, right?
It's the best. It's the best. But here's the thing, Rosie. Unlike you, who you are a boxing fanatic, you're known as, ¿cómo es? The first lady of boxing. Okay, I didn't know that. Just true story. And I'm going to tell you the truth, Rosie. I've never been to a boxing match in my life, ever. And the last one that I saw was Ali with Frazier on like 8mm film. Can you tell me, what it is, because I don't want to see anybody get hit. And I don't like to get hit. I just like the hitting. Talk to me about how boxing is a part of your power. Yeah, and the fact that you love to go see boxing, First Lady of Boxing, lady.
It spoke to me as a kid because they're alone in the ring, but yet they have a team behind them, and they're silent, but they're there. And when I started to understand what it took to even step into the ring, it was dedication and hard work and tenacity to become a champion. And that's what I wanted. And so when I learned that, like around the age of 10 or 11, about the Bible of boxing, if you will, you cannot be a champion unless you are dedicated, unless you put in the hard work. And sometimes even when you get to step into the ring, you might get knocked down. And the champions are the ones that get back up. And you may take a loss. The real champions are the ones that come back again and try again and try again. And I would get knocked down continuously as a kid. And I would, in my head, imagine I was Ali. Or I would imagine I was Sugar Ray Robinson. I'm old too, by the way. Or Marvin Hagler, you know, who came from Newark and moved to Broxton and couldn't get a championship fight until Tip O'Neill, of all people, fought for him. Yeah, seriously.
So that's a throwback, okay.
Yeah, and so it was, to me, that's what boxing meant to me. It meant that you are by yourself, but yet you are not alone, but only you can step in the ring, and only you can win the fight. And you're gonna have to take a few punches, but if you're good at it, you're gonna avoid as many punches as possible, because the art of boxing is to hit and not get hit. And to me, that was life. And it just taught me that. And now the reason why I get so passionate about boxers is because I followed them from their amateur careers all the way up to the pros. So by the time that they're a professional, it's kind of like if you see a child actor and you're like, oh my God, they're so good. Like, you know, Leonardo DiCaprio or somebody. You saw him as a kid, right? And then you go, oh my God, he's really good. And you want to always go see a Leonardo DiCaprio film. That's how I felt about Raul Julia when I first met him. I always wanted to see everything he was in. And it's the same thing as boxing. So by the time they get to a championship fight, your heart is completely in the fight. You're fighting precariously through them. You're rooting for them, and it becomes a tribal event too. You know, Xander Zayas just lost his first fight at the Barclays this weekend, and I had to leave early because I got in the car, and my husband goes, "You're gonna cry." I go, "I'm crying now," you know. But in his post-fight speech, that went viral. Not his knockdown, not his brutal beating that he took, was the fact that he was still composed and had such integrity. And he says, I took a loss tonight, but I will be back to fight another day, and I want to thank everybody for coming. That's boxing. That's the whole thing of boxing. And if you don't get that, you're never going to get it.
Can I ask you a favor? Because I have a few witnesses, just a few. Will you invite me to go watch a boxing match with you?
Oh my God, I would love that. I look like a lunatic though. Yeah, I'm the person going, get him! You know, I'm just
That's why I want to go with you.
Okay.
And no one else.
Okay.
Okay, we have a couple of questions. Okay, from our New York audience. How has claiming your Nuyorican-ness in a professional arena changed since the beginning of your career until now?
How has my Nuyorican-ness changed?
Claiming your Nuyorican-ness. Like, si antes te traía problemas, ahora...
Oh, it was claimed before I even stepped into the realm of the entertainment business. And I think that's why it's allowed me to maintain my sanity, because this is a very, very, very difficult business to be in. You face rejection all the time. You face misogyny. You face racism. You face sexism. You face now ageism. But if you have a solid foundation and you understand who you are and you have a base to go to support you, that's me as a Nuyorican. And that's what helps me keep going. And in my activism, it's the same reason. It's the same thing, you know. A recent politician that I was backing lost, you know, and it was right on the phone with my sister, like, oh my God, I'm so angry. You just let it all out. And being a Nuyorican, though, it presses me on, because Puerto Ricans, we're fighters, but a Nuyorican, we're tough fighters. We are tough, because we have to deal with so much on a daily basis.
So we're clear, right? And the reason why, I'm going to take a liberty, the reason why the Puerto Rican people are so tough is because of the colonial status which they face
Yes.
on the island, right?
Yes.
Every single day,
Yes.
very frontally. I see you, Jeannie. I see that you're saying you got 5 minutes left.
Oh.
Okay. Can we just say also, Rosie, I'm so happy that we asked you to do this, because you are having a moment. Y'all know she's in the upcoming season of a little show called The White Lotus. I mean, we could sit here and talk with Rosie about all of the actors who she has been on stage with, or rather in the films. I mean, like, óyeme, everybody. So, la verdad de que, how cool. That's really, really cool.
It's very
And I think it's also because we sense your passion for acting, but also your passion for the mission of social justice, of better humanity. But everything happens for a reason, and Rosie is having a moment that we're all celebrating. But the question from our audience says, what would you do differently if you were starting your career today? From Gerald.
You mean in the entertainment industry, or just basic? I always wanted to be a marine biologist. The only problem was I don't like to get my hair wet.
Hi, Latinas and our hair, it's a thing.
But if I were to do it all over again, I think, Spike Lee changed my life. Shout out to Spike Lee. I had no idea this was gonna happen. So I don't know. I don't think so much of what is. I just think of what else and what's going to happen. But if I were to start again in the entertainment industry, I would have prepared myself for the business side quicker. I mean, I got the memo. Boy, did I get the memo. But I wish I would have walked in with the knowledge instead of discovering it.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you, Rosie. Final question. One thing that is giving you a lot of joy right now in your life, and two, what is the one issue in the world that has your attention on a daily?
The one thing that gives me joy right now is my nut job of a grandson. Yeah, it's so beautiful and it's so rewarding. It has blessed my soul and changed my life in ways that I couldn't imagine. And the second half of that was
Something that que te importa that you're watching from a social justice perspective, something that you are watching closely.
I'm watching closely of how quickly our democracy is moving away from us and how quickly we are regressing, during the times of the Titans back then, the Rockefellers and the JP Morgans and all that, we're regressing back into that time of greed. And it's troubling because I was at the other end of it. And poverty hurts. It is so painful to be poor. People have no idea. And it's no fault of a child. They are born into that situation. So it's very scary for me right now what is happening. And it's also scary for me right now to see how scared everyone else is, and that people are cowering. And it's just like that movie Cabaret. They go for the artists first, right? They go for the intellectuals first. And when they got them all away, then they just have the scared people. And I don't want to believe that. And I don't believe that. And I think that we are all really good people, whether what side you're on, you know. And I think that extremism is really going to be our detriment. And I think that we have to start listening to each other, even if you don't agree. And we have to really lead with our hearts and soul, because if we don't, we will lose.
You know, I could stay here for a long time, and we would just have so much to talk about. And then we might even get up and dance or even attempt to spar. But I've been told we have to wrap. So let me just do a few thank yous, and then I have a couple of production things, so stand by. Jeannie, am I doing the thank you that you said so, or no? Okay. We have some salsa royalty in the audience tonight. This gentleman who knew about the Village Gate is also, I don't know who you are. Are you Bernie Fox? No? Okay. Bernie Fox, engineer for so many of your favorite recordings, is here. Music producer Harvey Avern is here.
Oh my God, Harvey! Oh my goodness. Oh.
Obviously, he knew the Village Gate. You may have been there the night that happened. Thank you so much for your work, Harvey. The founder of Latin Percussion, Martin Cohen. Journalist, writer, salsa historian, and my girlfriend who was at my birthday party in Harlem this Saturday night herself, Aurora Flores. Thank you for being a part of the podcast. We want to give a big shout out to the Mellon Foundation that is led by beautiful poet Elizabeth Alexander and our dear program officer Margaret Morton. I know that Lolly from Ford is here as well, so thank you for coming. But it's that kind of foundation support that lets Futuro Media do this work that ends up changing lives. Because I am convinced that there is a young, maybe not even Nuyorican, maybe she's Mexican or Ecuadorian. Mexico and Ecuador. Who is listening to the podcast and saying she wants to grow up to be a podcaster or an actor like Rosie Perez. So I'm sure that it's happening. Also, we want to say thank you to our event sponsor, Pisqueya. Looking forward to testing the hot. I didn't test it before, but I'm going to go check it out right now. And a shout out to the International Salsa Museum that brought their pop-up museum exhibit. So we're happy about that. All right, so here's what I realized. Jeannie, you're going to be happy I do this. I did not do a formal welcome, so I need you to be quiet, and then I need you to applaud when I say, you're going to know when to say applaud. So this is the welcome. Rosie Perez, it is so great to have you on Latino USA. Welcome to the show, here live at the Greene Space. Do you guys have experience with that stuff? And now finally, did you want to say something?
I want to thank everyone that was involved with this podcast. I want to thank you and Jeannie and all the producers for thinking of me, for picking me. I'm so honored. And I want to thank all the Fania All-Stars, and they are not just the ones that were on stage, not just the musicians, the engineers, the people behind the scenes, the musicians, the lawyers, the receptionists, everyone. Thank you for changing my life, and I love y'all.
It has been so wonderful to spend some time with you, Rosie. I think we've got a couple of dates to look forward to.
I would love it. And,
so that's going to happen. And thank you so much for joining me on Latino
thank
USA
you.
Live here in New York City.
You're a legend, and I thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, baby. Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right.
Maria Hinojosa and Rosie Perez, ladies and gentlemen.
Awesome. Keep it going for them. Keep it going. Such a lovely conversation. Give it up for yourselves. Are you having a good time on this Tuesday evening? Did you guys check out that salsa outside in the lobby there? Is it too spicy for you? It's good, huh? Oh, that's great. That's great. If you haven't already, I'm sure that conversation entices someone to check out the podcast that we mentioned. So do check out our thing, The Birth of Salsa in Nueva York. It's so good. It's so good. And honestly, now, I don't know about y'all, but I'm feeling like a little groove. I'm feeling like, we don't have enough space to dance, but you can move your shoulders, right? Ma'am, you got it? All right. Just back here, just want to do a shoulder check. Over here, everybody's feeling good? Okay, cool, because I am really in the mood for some music. And I don't know about you, but I could sure use some live music. I wonder if anyone has a piano or a trumpet. Wow, when did you get there? All right, y'all, this is part 2 of our program on this evening. I want to welcome to the stage now Venezuelan-born musician, Ella Bric. How's it going, Ella? All right, so before we get started, I just want to know, what's the first song you have for us?
We have La Monarca.
All right, well, let's do it.
Thank you.
I'll be right here grooving with you.
I want to dedicate this song to the people of Venezuela.
Yes.
Sin aviso me aparezco como llorona en la bruma, con deseo de aliviar tu pesar, sin culpa ni espumas. Vine del futuro y quiero entregarte un simple mensaje. Cuando el frío no la deja volar, la monarca emprende el viaje. Te pasa por las noches, al que el mundo no te ve, ¿qué más da? Protegida siempre estás. Si tú apagas el color, en tu voz no habrá verano en Nueva York. Entonces no te rindas, que todo estamos esperando. El tiempo ya llegó. Canta mi linda, canta. Canta mi linda, canta. Canta mi linda, canta. Si tú cantas después cantan 100. Por eso canta mi linda, canta. Canta mi linda, canta. Canta mi linda, canta. Que cantar es tu superpoder. Canta, mi linda, canta, canta, mi linda, canta. Si cantar es tu voz de poder, por eso canta, mi linda, canta, canta, mi linda, canta, canta, mi linda, canta. Que cantar es tu superpoder.
That was beautiful, Ella.
Thank you.
You were born and raised in Venezuela. Before we get deeper into this conversation, you know, our hearts are with your family, your loved ones, and all of Venezuelans impacted by the earthquakes on last week. I'm wondering, like, how did that news unfold for you?
I heard a voice note from my mom saying that she survived. Thanks, because she did a special prayer, and that gave her enough time to buy time to take her dogs, my brother, to run. She's on an 8th floor, and she have enough time, surprisingly, to go down and wait for whatever is gonna unfold after that. And then the second earthquake impacted her while she was on the street already. And many of my family members saw buildings falling next to them. Many kids trapped in the moment. Many people very confused, not understanding what's going on. They didn't know if this was, related to something else. And at the beginning, everybody was like, okay, one building fall here. But then as the time started passing, we started receiving devastating news about the whole country being affected by this. It's pretty much, according to our reporting in the CNN, a mix of 9/11 and the images similar to what we've been seeing happening in other parts of the world.
I'm so sorry to hear that. How's your mom now?
She's good. Most of my family lost a lot, but they're good, better than the rest.
I know we tried to meet up over the weekend to hang,
Yeah.
and you were running around getting donations. So if folks here want to help you, get donations out, what should they do?
They should follow on Instagram. On Instagram, I'm posting about 2 campaigns that I'm supporting. I'm supporting the local restaurants at the moment. They are sending medicine and local aid to send in trucks full of medicine being sent to Venezuela, which should arrive on this Wednesday. So basically, we are raising funds to cover the costs of sending those trucks to Miami and making sure that the medicine and the food is going to arrive on time.
I can't imagine being a daughter so far away from home during a natural catastrophe like this. How does music help you cope in times like this?
I feel like music always helps, but during this moment, I recognize that I have to remind myself that I'm a human being first, and I have to allow myself to feel the anger, the grief, and allow myself to just try to be present for them, trying to do the activism using the platform that I have available, at the same time of knowing when to stop and do meditation, prayers, and try to send as much as prayers to those who are still affected and suffering.
Yeah. Tell us about, your musical background. I saw you pick up that trumpet so quickly, like it just came to your hand, like you guys have spent a lot of time, some years together. Can you tell me about your background?
Yeah, I come from a family of musicians. My uncle was one of the saxophone players for Mario Bauza, Tito Puente. His name is Rolando Briceño. And props to him. And he left a lot of impact on my dad's. Although that they didn't grow up together, he came to New York City very, very early, and my dad, he took a different route, staying in Venezuela, and that's where I came. And my dad never stopped talking to me about jazz and about the importance of, knowing your roots, and he did a lot of mixing. And then that's pretty much how I got involved in music. Also, Venezuela has an amazing program named El Sistema, where we were exposed at a very young
age exposed to classical music, and that was my training, right? I started with classical music, then I switched to jazz, and then I started improvising, and I started mixing with all the genres, pop music, and I started producing music also.
Let's talk a bit more about classical music, because mixing that into the fold, it's a lot. How does that influence your overall sound?
Well, I feel like thanks to classical music, I allow myself to have a good technique, and the instrument, trumpet is a very physical instrument that requires a lot of discipline, a lot of techniques, and I use a lot of like the formations of classical trumpet players, such as Maris Andres, and a lot of big names who paved the way for us to be able to build a solid career as trumpet players, right? And then I took a different route, but I feel like the switch between classical music, it adds something else to the voice that I wanted to develop as a musician first.
All right, so we have a whole set list to get through. What's the next song you have for us?
I think we are gonna start with, the funny thing is that this music is the music that we created specifically thanks to Jan Montalvo, who gave me this gig.
Yeah, for the podcast.
Yeah, and for the podcast, and it was a big responsibility to write music for a podcast that is talking about the Fania All-Stars.
Yeah.
But we try to honor them and get closer the most I can with the tools that we were given. So I think we're gonna do, should we do Rumbo? Okay. I was very lazy in naming the tracks, so they still had the tracks. So
I saw
this one-
Theme 7 and I was like, is it called Theme 7? Is it called Theme?
So we don't have a percussionist today, but we have the beautiful and amazing genius right from Cuba, Camila Cortina. She's composer, musicologist, joining us today. So we're gonna, let me find my chart because I don't remember my own music.
You should have told me. I could have brought a drum or two.
Oh my God. I know, I should have, you know.
This is my moment to shine.
I know, I'm sorry.
Linda Briceño, you've used that name throughout your career, and now you're going by Ella Bric.
Yes.
Why the change?
This change is because I'm very, in a good sense, I'm a prideful and independent woman.
Come on now.
And there comes a time where a lot of people were associating me only as the daughter of or the niece of. And I wanted to create a name by myself, doing things that neither my uncle or my dad did. And then I was able to discover the music of Ella Fitzgerald. And I'm like, what a beautiful story, and how hard it is, everything that she went through, and the figure that she represents. I feel like this figure represents me. I would like to call my name Ella and cut my last name in half and create my own last name, at least artistically, and show the world that, yes, I will always honor my ancestors, but at the same time, they're gonna hear something new coming from these veins. So,
yeah. I love that, breaking away to make a name for yourself.
yeah.
What was it like leaving Venezuela? And how old were you when you did it?
I left Venezuela when I was in my 20s, similar to Camila. We were talking about the way that we left our countries, and it was very similar.
What impacted that decision?
Social issues in our countries. Cuba and Venezuela share a similar political history, and I wanted to do other things. I wanted to eat the world, and what best way to eat it by going to the place that has an apple, eat it.
Yeah.
Right? So I arrived here, I got a full scholarship, the same as Camila. It was very hard at the beginning, but I was blessed, and I always had God by my side, and a lot of people who helped me get through this, and every single musician who gave me jobs for the first time, the shady gigs, the good gigs, and here I am,
Yeah. What's the difference between the music scene here in New York City and the music scene back in Caracas?
The scene is not much different. I mean, the scale, New York City is 3.0, like it's mega, right?
Yeah.
But the musician's culture is very similar. People here is very ambitious, very disciplined, and you come here to become a better musician. I remember when I was in Venezuela, Anat Cohen visiting a great clarinetist. She's like, "You're going to New York City to get your ass kicked," and I'm like, "Damn, okay, I need that." And then I came to New York City, and exactly as she said, and it made me a better human being. And but at the same time, I came also prepared because Caracas is also a very competitive city where a lot of great musicians are coming from, great training, same as Cuba as well. And I feel like also Venezuela has a big culture of salsa music. We have Oscar de Leon, we have a lot of important figures, La Dimensión Latina, a lot of people who also paved the way. So I come also from that background.
Yeah. I talked a bit about the way you sort of mix all these genres together, but one I failed to mention was pop. Classical meets pop. How do you do that? Like, what's the thought process?
I feel like, yes, I am a big consumer of pop music because American music, the cable arrived in Venezuela. We were always connected to American music and especially black music, right? We were visited by Michael Jackson and a lot of like big figures of black history. Jazz musicians also came here. I think Ella came to New York to Caracas as well. So we always were surrounded by great influence from the Americas. But I feel like the way that I interpret pop was very different from the pop that was happening in the 2000s. Pop meaning for me Air, Wind and Fire.
Oh, okay.
When I was 12.
Okay.
When I was 12, my people, they were consuming Britney and all of those stuff, which I also learned NSYNC choreographies and all of that.
Yeah.
But I feel like that was my closest expression of understanding that necessarily what people is consuming is a reflection of what our communities are at the moment, and trying to work with that and do something with it that also transcends and also allowed myself to honor ancestor and the music that came before me.
Talking about music that transcends, as we mentioned, you composed a lot of the music for our thing, the Birth of Salsa in Nueva York. How do you do that? Like, it's so much music, so many different themes, right, that you have to touch on. You have something upbeat, something somber? What's your approach?
I feel like I had a lot of help from the team of Futuro, especially Jan Montalvo, because they gave me very specific references. And I try to be as much as respectful with those references, not to appropriate, not to copy anything, but at the same time using the same rhythms. Like this, we want this song to have the feeling of boogaloo. We want this to be a rumba. We want this to be an up-tempo. We want this to sound a little bit more like Hector Lavoe, or also represent a bolero made by La Lupe. In this case, Tito Cure, which was the composer. So I try to mix all of those ideas and try to honor that and give also my contribution, and that's how it came. I also need to mention that this music, whoever left the Fania time, they lived the best golden years of music, because not many people is recording this music as it used to be. Most of the arrangers who arrange and orchestrate for these big orchestras, they're no longer with us. And there is no enough people investing money so this music can keep working and keep existing as it used to. So I relied on a team of Venezuelan musicians who were back home, who were interested in making this with the little budget that we have available. I mean, it was amazing to have people back home recording this. So what you heard is a team of full Venezuelans trying to make it work, and it came amazingly,
It sounds like you had a really cool homework project or something.
Yeah, it was a big challenge.
But it was a lot of fun, right?
It was a lot of fun and a lot of learning experience, and it humbled me because I still am learning rhythms, different types of montunos, and my musicians, I always surround myself with great musicians, and they are patient enough to understand that I have the mind of a producer. I'm not necessarily the most virtuoso musician, but I can make things happen, and that's how it came.
All right, I think we're ready for theme 7?
Theme 6, actually.
Theme 6, these names.
Well, hopefully after today, you guys can help me give a decent name to these pieces.
We can call one of them Janae's favorite.
Yeah. And also consider that it's a big challenge to create all this music that was recorded with a big percussions, instruments, trombones. So we did a big challenge today by reducing this to a duet. So I hope
Sounds
you can.
Great.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
I mean, not
Sounds
reducing
great,
it.
right?
I feel like we're uplifting it. Okay, let me open this. I'm such an abuela, with technology. Okay.
cortina, everybody.
That was great. Shout out to my shoulder shakers over here.
All
I see you.
right.
I see you, ladies. You know, Ella, you wear a lot of different hats. You're a producer, songwriter, trumpeter. Which of these roles feel more at home to you, and why?
Singer-songwriter. I feel like I was telling Camila that I have to wear so many hats that I would like to think that in the future I can become someone like Caetano Veloso, but doing Venezuelan music, you know?
Yeah.
So, but big difference, right? I still need to have 90 years old to become that. So I have a lot of things to experiment with.
What's top of mind right now?
It's not stopping me right now. I feel like I have the full blessings of surrounding myself with great musicians and producers who are allowing me to become that. One of my co-producers, which is a great producer from Honduras, Truco, he's with us today. He's a genius, and he is helping me find my sound, mixing Afro-Venezuelan music with current sounds, and I feel like we are in the search of finding that enlightenment artistically.
Yeah,
you know?
we talked a bit about how your work bridges Afro-Venezuelan traditions with jazz and electronic music and Latin jazz. I wonder though, like, what's your inspiration?
Like music-wise?
Yeah.
I feel like it's when they ask me, what's your favorite song? It's very complex, like where do you pick from? I feel like I feel passionate about musicians who leave a mark with social justice, such as Nina Simone is like a big influence, mixed with, big props to Nina Simone. At the same time with, I don't know, I love Bjork music as well, as much as I love the songs of Tito Cure, you know? Like, I feel like there are a lot of places to pick from, but I feel like if you have the chance to, you don't have never the chance to perform for the same 100 people, so we are impacted lives from 100 to 100, so we have the platform that a politician will die to have.
Yeah.
So I like to think that we are using that the best way that we can to impact and make a change in the world.
When it comes to mixing all of these genres together, what challenges have you faced?
I feel like the challenge, I mean, as a producer, we represent the 1 or 2% in the recording studios as much as engineers, female engineers. We face a lot of misogyny in the studios. Also, in the music industry, it's very challenging for us as well as women, right? That's the first one, which it's sad to recognize in 2026 that there's still those things happens, right? Having so many movements pro-women, right? But unfortunately, those things still happens, and it's our duty to keep, giving visibility to that and try to create a change. I feel like the challenge also as an immigrant woman is always finding the right space to create this music at the same time of surviving a city that is kicking out immigrants constantly and is becoming more expensive and unaffordable. So in the age of AI as well, it's very challenging to understand where the music is gonna go if these machines are taking and stealing music from creators like us. So it's a conversation that needs to happen, and I feel like that's what concerns me the most, and it's going to be the challenge for us to understand how to receive the technology and use it for the good at the same time of not losing and protecting creators to keep doing this music and creating more spaces for us.
Now, I wanted to share a secret with you all. It's really not a secret, but it's old news. Homegirl Ella here is a Latin Grammy Award winner. Can we give it up for that? It's a big deal, okay? A big deal. First woman to win Producer of the Year? Flex. All right, so I have to ask, because I have never had a conversation with a Grammy winner. What's it like? I mean, take us all back to the moment.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing because, especially the Latin side of things, especially with the Latin Grammys, it has a tendency of, I mean, the award is supposedly to give the award to someone who leave a really big mark on the music in Latin America, right? And what we've been consuming as audience has been, you know, new rhythms, reggaeton, and all of those things. So I came nominated in that category where I was competing with someone who produced something for Laura Pausini, someone who did something for Residente, many huge producers who were Despacito producers were nominated there. And I was nominated with 2 independent projects, and Ruben Blades happened to be in one of those projects by luck. And they decided to give the award to these 2 honest and very independent projects. And I feel like it became not about me, it became a conversation worldwide about women in the studios and the importance of creating spaces and amplifying those voices, and it really changed me, and I'm grateful and humble that it was given to me, and I'm hopefully rooting for my teammates to keep, you know, being nominated, but at the same time, more than winning the award in the future is that they can create a less hostile environment in the recording studios and can make a living of what they are doing, you know?
Yeah, for sure. You know, naturally, I want to ask, like, how has receiving the award changed your career or helped your career? But I also want to know, how has it helped your peers?
It helped my peers, and it didn't make a big change. I thought it will change my life.
Yeah, that's what social
in
media makes it seem
in the
like.
checks.
Yeah, you're right.
But it didn't, and it's okay, because I feel like my heart is in not compromising the creative process just to follow the algorithm or how music is being released, more in the business side of things. Maybe that's why you don't see my music being in playlists or big million listeners monthly, because I have decided that I want to allow myself, as an immigrant woman who has different challenges every day in New York City, to create music when I want to create it, and trying to be sure that my music is going to have the integrity that I want it to have, and hopefully that can connect with the people, whether they discover me today on this amazing event or whether they discover me on a random playlist of someone in Japan, you know?
Yeah. All right, we have another jam.
Yeah, this is our last jam, which is Boogaloo.
Oh, this is the last one?
Well, I don't know how much time we have. How much time
I don't know. No one ever waved me down.
I think
I can do this forever. I've been doing it for years.
I have time for one more, because we don't want the people to fall asleep, right?
That's right. This is right. You're
They've been here listening, and you know, I like to keep it short. But if you guys want one more, The
people want one more. One more.
This is my favorite one, by the way.
Oh, good one.
Cortina.
Sing with us.
Oh, now you hear me. Now is our time to sing. How about that? Can we all sing collectively? Just let's sing. Da 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 da. Again. Da 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 da. That's it. Da 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 da. And now you're going higher. Next one. Da 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 da. And then on this side, well, it's a little less people. Da da ba da. Da da ba da. Da 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 ba da 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 da. Oh my God. Okay. Da 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 da. And then they finish the song.
Ella Bric. Ella Bric. Ella Bric, everyone.
Camila Cortina on piano, please, from Cuba.
Thank you all so much for coming out. Have a safe travel back to wherever you're going. Thanks so much for joining us.